All right. I think we're a go now. I think we're a go on the tube that is you with Love Evolve Energy. So I'll introduce myself again. Hi, Christine here doing via Love Evolve Energy, which is the name I've been going under for quite a while. There's a lot happening, and I try to be really authentic. It's one of my missions here with this series of giving myself a commitment of 108 days, an hour a day or more of meditation. On top of that, creative expression, creative flow. So let's unpack what those two things are right now. Hello, replay watchers. Thanks for joining me. Let me have a little sip. Usually, this is a morning broadcast. Typically, it's a morning broadcast. And so I'm usually with chai or some kind of tea or something like that. We're in afternoon right now because we're in afternoon, so I have some homemade seltzer with me. Trying to find a place to put this where I don't have to rearrange too much. Guess I'll just put it back over there. I'm doing it later today because my personal sit, unguided hour in the morning, uh, happens early enough that I can come up here before noon to get some accountability and let you know insights. Uh, every day, Monday through Friday, 5 days a week. So the Monday through Friday days, I sit with a Sangha. I don't guide that. Um, a beloved friend of mine, Michael Zattel, has a Sangha that he's cultivated. And if anybody wants a part of that, let me know. And I can give you his link and you can join us noon to 1, Monday through Friday, East Coast time. West Coast time, which is where he is based, 9 to 10 a.m. So that might be a little bit easier. So that means what I'm reporting on is last night, and many of you saw a lot of my postings about that with the creative flow that happened there. The sit this morning, which happened post, I'm still experimenting. This is my first week. This is day 3, by the way, day 3. Longer than an hour today, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. Uh, I did some movement, creative expression through movement this morning, um, and it was amazing. And it helped this shift that I'm going through within my energy, spirituality, mental, emotional, personality, and physicality. The big shift. So, with any big shift, there's some cleanup that needs to happen. Other things are dislodged and loosened. And so there's extra cleaning and organization to be done uh, in the wake of that. And so I'm in that process right now, or so it seems. And so there's been a lot to do. There's a lot coming up in my physical body. I did get a little energy work last week, which really helped that along. Plus, all the other stuff I'm looking at really has helped that. It's so interesting. And here's something to take note, everybody. You just take one tiny step at a time, or one large step for a chunk of time. For example, the larger step, because I wanted something different, and so I'm doing something different, is an hour a day, not unusual, but consistently an hour or more a day, and reporting about it live like this and the insights that ensued. That's a big step. That's a game changing, potentially game changing step. I work with Kyle Cease quite a bit, and uh, when you're doing this kind of commitment as a self growth and a self challenge, things start to move, things start to shift, certainly by the end of the time. And there's an encouragement to give yourself a kind of punishment, I guess you might call it, or a kind of, if you do not do it that day, what's your cost? What's it going to cost you? Because only because it can be easy to just slack off for a day. I haven't made that for me. If anybody has any ideas, let me know. What I thought I might do is penance would be the next 3 days after that, minimum 3 hour sits. Oh, that is a lot of carving time out. So I'm still working it out this week. Oh, in the neck, in the everything. So we'll see how that goes. So this morning, because I'm not just doing, yeah, I'm on a physio ball here. I'll show it to you. Oh, yes. The big blue ball, like the one that we live on. I'm doing this creative expression, and part of that is my nature. If you've seen things I do in the past couple of years online, you know that I'm a mover. And you also know that I work with color, like I have my fistful of colorful pens and pencils and markers. And I weave in and out of those things uh, throughout the Awakening the Body Deva series I did this summer. We capped it off with an ecstatic dance movement meditation session open to all. Uh, so that was me launching back into that kind of vibe and feel in a safe way. Well, it really began to open up not just last night, but this morning. Baby steps, people. If you just take tiny steps, there are huge lava flows that will come after that. Hey, Gay, thank you for the energy work. I've been meaning to reach out to you, and I just wanted to thank you for that. Highly recommend Gay Miller, people. She's a medium, by the way, and does other things as well. So let me tell you about some of the lava flows. Some of the lava flows. All I've really been doing is saying, well, I'm going to try this painting course. I'm going to commit to a course I'm doing with Kelsey Kinsey White, Body Creatrix. I'm going to dive back into my cards and doing a tarot class with Minnow Pond Tarot, Chris Rack. I love it. And as if that's not enough, and I don't remember what the and is. Oh, painting with Whitney Freya. That's sort of my major framework. Uh, as that's a daily practice. It's training you to have a practice in visual art expression and other. So this is what went down. I just made these commitments, and I'm just throwing them at the wall, and I'm seeing which ones stick. So, bien sûr, meditation's going to stick. It's something I already do. I love it, and have been wanting to do it an hour a day. And so that's an is that an easy, relative easy for 108 days. So that's me being authentic and putting myself out here kind of raw, and whatever happens, whatever shows up and however I show up that particular day. Just 3 days, there have been seismic shifts in what's going on. Last night, for example, uh, I was feeling these patterns, these deep negative patterns are leaving me. And there I was sitting with this pattern of frustration and, my whole way of embracing of visibility is to be announcing that I'm in the process of writing a book called Chatting with Crickets, or Talking with Crickets, My Journey Towards Visibility. So there's sadness, frustration, um, thrown up my hands in futility with that whole thing, and I decided I'm not gonna abandon myself in this. Hey, Arpita, beautiful woman. Thank you for all the gifts that you share with the world, Arpita. Your connection with the deity realms, really beautiful. Another light worker here, people. And so I launched in and didn't abandon myself last night. And I said, I'm putting on one of my favorite ecstatic dance DJs is Sophie Sofray. And you've seen me post that different places. So I put that on my headphones. I went down into this little art studio area. It's really just a couple of pieces of countertop and all of these supplies. And I just went for it and I just started and I just started. There the frustration came out pretty quickly and I moved it, I danced it with the rhythm, with my feet and with color in my hand, and I had everything spread out. And it was just mixed mediums. It was um, uh, oil pastels, chalky pastels, tempera, um, ink. It was just all this stuff. It was just all this, and I just kept going and going and going over for I don't know, about maybe pushing an hour and a half, and I just went for it. I just did it. And I just let it move. And there's something about even when it's frustration, rage, anger, fear, if you can be present with that and move with that, allow it to move, whether it's spoken word, whether it's physical dancing or hitting pillows, whether it's writing a poem, whether it's singing, some way for that raw, the raw expression of the emotion to have expression as you bear witness, consciously bear witness to it through your human form. That's what's being called for during huge transformations, up leveling, shifting, which is what I'm going through now. That's what we think before. We often think is that it's a burden, it's a big deal to engage with it in that particular way. What I found and what I suspect everybody will find, because this is not the first time. This may be the first time I'm reporting on it. Hey, Rachel, how's it going, my love? This may be the first time I'm reporting on it. It's not what you think it is. Most of the time, we're making scary faces at ourselves in the mirror, terrifying ourselves, when really, just relax the face and it's simply what it is. And so, in moving to the mirror of the creative expression with with the paper and all of those colors, the frustration took on a different flavor. It was not damaging to my nervous system. The movement helped that. It allowed my nervous system to process those early trauma, raw emotions through movement, creative expression movement, through color, which is movement again when you're working with colors and paints, or crayons or oil pastels. There's a movement with the color, and there's an opportunity to move beyond the story, to be with present with it. Take some left brain consciousness organization, perhaps, to just sit yourself down there or stand yourself up there. And then you got to let go, which is the gateway of the creativity. It You can tell when it's tight, and if you can just, for me, I needed music and I needed rhythm. I needed my breath and I needed movement to help the color flow. It moved beyond story. Once in a while, words came out, images came out, but I just kept moving with the raw emotionality and expression of it. um, Creative arts therapy, right? Expressive arts therapy. I almost did a degree in that. I did not. I chose differently. Somatics and consciousness studies is my master's, right? So interesting. Um, Body based. So here I am with that last night, and it helped. Although you know what I did after? I watched some Amazon Prime 3 episodes of this new show. Not how I want to be channeling my energy, and yet that habit was there as well. So then I wake up the next day, and as you might suspect, with all of this coming out of the cocoon of the caterpillar butterfly soup and beginning to break out of it is what I'm doing. And doing things like last night and everything last week and the last 3 days of this. Hey, Sheila, if you guys are just catching me now, rewind or see this after so you can see some of the flow of what's happening here. Where was I? I just got a little distracted. This morning, as you might imagine, there was still a lot activated in me. And so what I chose to do was go to my Peace Palace. Some of you know about that, my Peace Palace out in the hippie garden, the corner of the backyard, and do some energy work, be outside and do some energy work with the sun and my body to just move some of this energy. When you're going through, and many of you who are here know this, and some of you who are just finding me newly may not know this. During upheaval, big transition, no matter what layer, level, or dimension it's happening on, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, et cetera, if you're into energy work, if you're into healing in some way, it's likely that there's going to be a requirement to do more or to do extra because it's kicking up the dust that couldn't be seen before, couldn't be released before because it was um, suppressed or hidden or matted down underneath. We're doing energy work triage here, right? Then the next arising. And every time you evolve a bit, stuff's got to go. You got to let go of things. It's necessitates that kind of thing to let go, let go, let go. And so I had a lot of cleanup this morning, and that's what I did for about an hour. And then I started moving and dancing again, with that DJ, Sophie Sofri. Uh, and then I poked around with her, and I saw some of her history, but I still kept my body moving. And then I saw that she does ecstatic dance, DJ, teaching, training people to do that, to guide. And I already guide. I've done ecstatic dance for, since my 20s. So what's that, 30 years now? Ah, Pushing 30 years. So I uh, I was like, wow, I wonder if that's for me. So I looked on, she works with a partner on her website, and they do trainings a couple of times a year. I didn't see any for 2022, but they do this little freebie mini. which is about 7 lessons, just the bare bones, what you need. I was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna do that, it's free. I'm gonna look into that." So I did, and I'm like, "I don't know. Identity crisis. I don't know who I am or what I'm offering now anymore, right? Who am I? What do I do? Energy geek? Okay, maybe. Am I a DJ for ecstatic dance? What is that identity?" And I was like, "Well, I could go back to being the rock star that I used to be in my 30s, maybe. I don't know." Then I received an omen. "Hey, Melissa, a sea osprey, an osprey. Uh, I was in the backyard in the street. There are these lampposts. I saw an osprey swoop down. They're pretty big birds. Swoop down and land on the top of the lamppost and just be there. And so I was still moving, and I did a sun dance with the osprey, and I tried not to interfere, but just communed my appreciation and gratitude. Eventually, he floated off, or she floated off, and I kept moving and dancing. Eventually, I looked up the meaning of osprey, and it is quite a positive omen. Maybe I'll post here. I was like, "Wow. Well, okay, okay." So if she's offering that, I guess I have to live into those britches, into those shoes. I like doing things that I like moving into and taking action on things that I believe that I can't do, or that I think that I can't do, but I'm really curious about and sound fun. And so I don't I'm not sure that I know I can do that. I'm not sure, but the only way to find out is to do it. And if it's not a good fit, it's not a good fit. All of this happened between when I saw you yesterday and when I'm talking to you right now. A lot went down. On top of that, I did 2 different sits. I sat for an hour, and then I took a tiny break, and then I sat with my sangha at noon for 40 minutes. That's typically a 30, somewhere between 30 and 50-minute sit, but say it was a 40-minute sit. So yeah, I got in an hour and 40 minutes, 2 different sits. It was again what I've been reporting with, even though it was positivity and excitement and delight, there was a strong activation in my mental sphere. Lots of internal talk, internal imagination, launching into the future, some dragging up from the past. So there's still a lot of that going on. So, truth be told, during that hour-long sit with myself, it's silent with my bag of techniques with me. Although I do use Insight Timer to use the bells to indicate beginning, end, and right now I'm doing 15 every 15 minutes to create an auditory structure for myself. It was still kind of chaos. It was even though it was pleasant, what's happening in my mental body, my emotional body, my energy body, and shuffling down to my physical body is the house of cards is collapsed and all the cards are up in the air. And so that's being reflected in my witnessing the experience. And so it's still there. This is all from taking small steps in a direction of where I want to go. Surrender, peace, surrender to divine source love, co-creative processing, sharing, offering, and peace, peacefulness. I want to be peace. So this is what it looks like at the beginning stages of really taking up that mantle. About halfway through, somewhere between 15 minutes and 30 minutes, there was a subtle shift in some way with my body and my energy. There was greater ease. After 30 minutes, maybe 35 minutes in, I had small pockets of concentration on the coolness of ease of the breath. Shamatha practice is what it can be called. And then that was peppered through the rest of it. Was it consistent? Did I get to that intense access concentration? No. It was endless arisings. And truth be told, towards peppered throughout that too, I was doing on occasion. There was not complete surrender to what is. The impulse was strong, and I followed it to do a little energy work with clearing. So it'll take time. It'll take time. Baby steps, everybody. Baby steps in the direction of dot, dot, dot changes the world. If it changes me, everything that ripples out from me that I touch feels that. Baby steps, tiny steps. And I'm just on day 3, people. I'm just on day 3. What? What's going down? I don't even know. That's what I have to share. The book I didn't have with me yesterday was this. Right Concentration, Lee Brassington. A practical guide to the jhanas. Jhanas point out a practice of concentration practice leading to bliss states, jhanic states, states of the early jhanas, pleasurable freedom and release, and then they turn into other things. So this is the book. If you want to join the book club in 2020, this is the book we will be practicing with. That's what it looks like. Yes, a little frangipane flower in the Buddha's lap. If you've never smelled frangipane trees when they're in blossom, it's so intoxicating, so intoxicating. When I lived down south. Maybe I'm moving back down south. I don't know, people. I don't know. Kisei. So that's day 3. If people here have a meditation practice, I would love to hear how you approach it. What happens? So you get ready, you sit down, and then what? Then what? What's your protocol? What actually happens? Protocol or not? I'd love to hear that. Is it about listening? Is it about cultivating? If you are interested in starting a meditation practice and you like my voice, I have a whole bunch of stuff on YouTube. Some of you are catching me on YouTube right now. I also have a Podia website where I have a honing the sense gates, clarifying your intuitive capacities, day-long retreat. So what is that, about 6 hours, 6 or 7 hours of material that you might purchase to help yourself practice, get into something. If you need some guided, I have that on my Podia. Should put a link here somewhere. Maybe I'll do that after, or maybe I'll just do that tomorrow. We'll see. I'm trying to be really easy. When I get here and I talk, there's a certain persona that shows up. It's not always like this. I just want to be clear about that. I am a human being and a human feeling. human doing, human expressing and raging and raving, and it happens. And the situations I've created for myself are a blessing at times and so intensely difficult and challenging at other times. For example, what I'm seeing is that I am working on divine mother energies. That's not a surprise. What is a surprise, perhaps, is that there's an ancestral quality to an encumbered pattern of mothering and how I mother myself, how I've been mothered, how my mother has been mothered, and so on and so on. And that's part of the release that's happening in me so that I may blossom into Christos, divine feminine, a little bit more fully. As an ecstatic dance DJ rock star, maybe. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. So that's what's up for me. I don't see any more comments. Uh, if I do this and I come back, some more will appear. Ooh, what's happening here? That's my report for today. Oh, the second sit. I should say with Sangha, the second sit. And if any of you want to join, my friend Michael Zattel Sangha, let me know and I'll hook you up. It's a great group. At least one of you here has joined me with him. It's really cool. Uh, it's I would say it's Theravadan and Buddhism, Thai forest tradition based, and Zen Buddhism based. But he's also a trained psychologist and has taken up the Red Road, which is Native American practices at different times. Anyway, so my second sit on Mondays in that Sangha, we focus on metta. Metta. We know what metta is, yes? It's the heart practices. 2 years ago, I offered a week-long online retreat with the Brahma Viharas, the divine abodes of the heart practices. So Mondays, we were a little bit Brahma Vihara, heart-based. We were doing heart-based practice, and I found entering in, things were a little bit easier. My second sit, my body was more ready somehow. There was less discomfort. I'm having a lot of body discomfort as I live my life these days. Won't always be here, but it is now. So there was more ease. There was just more sensation of expansion. Uh, During the sit, I could feel the mind stuff, papancha, blah, 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 starting to come in. Wasn't pleasant or unpleasant, just was kind of neutral. So that would drift in and out and in and out at times. So that was my sit, my second sit of the day, my 40-minute sit. Um, yeah. Then I had a little bite to eat, then I jumped on with you. So there's nothing more in addition to tell you about the second sit, except that apparently I definitely needed, and it was a little bit more pleasant. It was similar in a sense to my first practice in that my equanimity would waver. Strong at some points, not strong at other points. The point of it all is I'm doing it, people, I'm doing it. And yeah, I'm using this as a way to document and be seen in my vulnerabilities and raw authenticities, and to get accountability for my practice. And I hope in some way that there's inspiration in it that encourages you to show up for yourself. Tiny steps. There is magic in the mundane. If you decide, make tiny decisions that are in the direction of where you're going, where you desire in alignment to go. That whole choosing a desire that's in an alignment and not thwarting alignment, that's a whole other conversation. Significant will change your life. Hard work is tough for sure. We learned that when we did that a couple of years ago. Can I get an amen hallelujah for those of you that were with me during the heart practices? It's a roto-rooter. It's metta heart practices are floss for the cockles of the heart. If there's stuff that needs to be dislodged or moved, it will move. It's not for the faint of heart because it strengthens the heart's capacity to hold all that life has to offer, the 10,000 joys and the 10,000 sorrows. Not a peasy, easy, not. The rewards, however, can I get an amen, hallelujah on the rewards of heart-based meditation practice? Maybe I'll offer it again. We'll see how it goes. One thing at a time, everybody. One thing at a time. My great love is sitting meditation practice as a centerpiece for my life, and I'm walking the talk right now. More than maybe not more than I ever have, but I need it more. So, my question for all of you who are still here with me and listening, what is your need? What is your alignment need? Aligned with the love of source. Is there a request there? Can't tell you what it is. Only well, maybe if I looked, I may be able to get some intuitive hits, but who cares what I can get an intuitive hit on? What I care about is you and your relationship with you. What's your intuitive hit with yourself? If you're all, what the fuck? I don't know. I'm confused. Perhaps simply bearing witness to the hellhole of confusion is your greatest need. Befriending it, making it some tea, sitting with it for a while. Perhaps you have to sit in the ocean and cry an ocean of tears. I don't know. Perhaps you just have to walk away from it all for the rest of the day, drink water, and keep following the impulses of love. Not pleasure minus love, pleasure plus love. You decide, you tell me. I don't know. You tell me. Maybe you need hugs. You tell me what your need is. Tell me. By writing it out, that's your own way of moving into a kind of healing and a kind of accountability. Love you, Sheila. Love you, Sheila. I often end my meditations with I suppose it's a kind of metta, but it's also a kind of energy work where I repeat over and over again and begin to cultivate. So if I'm cultivating a positive feel, that can be metta practice, a heart-based practice, positive, cultivating positive feel. I repeat over and over, something like divine source light in every cell of my being over and over, and then all kinds of variations. I was working with green and gold today as well, different areas of my energy, and it kind of activates and creates a kind of effervescent explosion within every cell of my body, every bit of my mental body, my emotional body, my energy systems, my energy bodies, et cetera, and onward and onward. Perhaps that some variation on that is beneficial for you for an entire meditation period or to bookend a formal sitting practice or dance practice of your own. We shall see. All right, that's all I have for you today. I'm pushing on 2 o'clock now. Oh my goodness, me too. Oh, Melissa, me too. As I'm working with Kelsey Kinsey White, we have to do intention statements and what do you want? What are you looking at? And mine is peace. So funny, isn't it? It's in the air. It's in the air up here now. All right. We'll see what happens in the next 24 hours, and I'll meet you back here hopefully tomorrow morning. We'll see again. I'll see if I can go to bed early so I can wake up early and do another sit then. May this chat be of benefit to all beings, all dimensions, levels, layers, and timelines, for all that came before me, all that will come after, and all that walk with me now. I thank you all, blossoms of divine light. Catch you back here in the flip. Hey, Sky. Have a beautiful day, everybody. Let me give you a little music to float out with, as per usual, unless you want something different today. Now, let's stick with this. Maybe I'll make a new banner tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Thank you.